Hello, this is Fraser Anderson from Vestigo Ventures. Today I'm Zooming, as I do every day, with our summer interns, Jetty Ngata and Chris Parkinson. How are we doing, gang?
Doing well.
Awesome. So I think first of all, it's time for the viewers to get to know you a little bit. Jetty, you first.
My name is Jetty Ngata. I'm calling in from Canton, New York. I'm originally from Kenya, and I go to school at St. Lawrence University, where I study economics and statistics.
Chris?
My name is Chris Parkinson. I'm calling in from Falmouth, Massachusetts, which is where I'm originally from as well. I go to school at McGill University up in Montreal, and I'm studying applied math and computer science.
Fantastic. And I have to say, I have been quite delighted by the amount of work you two have already gotten through and just how much easier you're making our lives at Vestigo. Chris, why don't you start off by talking a little bit about how you found the working from home experience and what you've learned so far about being a real VC.
Absolutely. Having worked at home for the last few weeks at school this year as well, slipping into the normal routine wasn't too hard the second time around. So establishing that daily routine, which is really the most important part of working from home that I find, has just been a part of that new normal that we're all sort of defining for ourselves. I think a weird aspect, I think Jetty probably feels the same as me here, is that we're working really closely with people who we've never met and are not allowed to meet in person. But thanks to Zoom and like the constant communication that we have going on, it feels like we have met and we were able to start working without really a hiccup. And so hopefully we can culminate it with getting together at the end. But yeah, to start, over the last week, I've been organizing and structuring the database of startups with whom Vestigo has interacted with over the last either weeks or years. And that's required me to study and read through a lot of pitch decks that investors have, or that startups have sent to Vestigo. And it's interesting because 2 months ago, if you had asked me what a pitch deck was, I really don't know if I would have been able to tell you what it was. And over the last few days, I've really been immersed in that sort of startup and venture capital world just by reading through so many pitch decks. And to me, the success of a startup has always seemed like it starts with a product about what you're doing. But really looking at these pitch decks, it seems as if it's the why and the why now. That's the most critical part of it. And all these investors, they're all really good salesmen. They're really trying to get you to buy into their idea, and a lot of their ideas are great. But part of the venture capital part is, pinpointing which ones are going to take a foothold in the market. And so you not only have to have a knowledge to have an in-depth conversation with these entrepreneurs, but you also need to have the insight in that market to see what's going to take effect. So there's a bit of a challenge there, but I'm excited to get involved. For sure.
Well, that's fantastic. And viewers, I promise you, I did not prime him. I just told these two to write down a few coherent paragraphs. So they're learning fast. Jetty, after I read your absolutely wonderful term paper that you worked on last summer, I basically just arbitrarily decided to make you the new queen of crypto here at Vestigo. It's been awesome to have you on pitch calls already. And I mean, you're just coming up the curve so fast. It's really exciting. I'd love to hear your thoughts on kind of how you think about fintech, having been immersed in it now for a few days, and how that kind of relates to digital money.
Sure. Fintech or financial technology is a digital revolution that has changed how people invest, and it keeps changing economies in the world. Let's say the cashless payment like Venmo. I think that has made life easier. In addition, the fintech industry is growing fast, and it's growing faster compared to the traditional banking and financial services as we know it. It has given people a chance to do transactions, even people that don't have bank accounts. Let's say, for example, in my country, Kenya, we have this app called M-Pesa. It's a mobile service transaction that you can use to send money, receive money. We can even take out loans. And 90% of businesses in Kenya are using this app. So what I'm saying is that fintech has made people's life easier. In rural places, like, as I said, in my country, people don't have internet connections, But because M-Pesa, which is this fintech app that you can use for money and transactions, doesn't need the connection, people's lives are easier. I can send money back home to my family in the village and they will get it.
Mhm. That's fantastic. And can you talk a little bit more about some of the things you've learned about crypto maybe in the past few days?
Sure. I love the idea of cryptocurrency, and right now my favorite is Bitcoin. I know I'm doing research on it, and so far I have learned that since its invention in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto, it has been appreciating in value, and I know its value keeps fluctuating, which is also the case for securities in the stock market. That's bound to happen, but Bitcoin keeps appreciating in value and people are investing in it. And I think investors are seeing this and it's catching their eyes and their interest and they want to invest in it, which is a really good thing. And I was saying earlier, if I had money, I would put it where my mouth is. And right now I see that that is cryptocurrency.
Fantastic. It certainly piqued the interest of a few VCs. Um, and so I think if there's one thing that working with you both has taught me, it's that I absolutely love Slack. I think at Vestigo prior to COVID, we, to all of our LPs and friends that have come to our office, we're basically working on top of each other. So a lot of these productivity tools were a little bit unnecessary, and we've come up the curve on them, but it's a little bit more difficult to break habits. But since we've started, the three of us, kind of from square one, I love being able to communicate with you guys on Slack and reference things very quickly. But do you have a hot take on Slack, Gen Z?
Personally, I love Slack. As Chris said earlier, it's difficult to like just work with people that you haven't met before. But I think Slack has made it easier for us to communicate. And you, as our supervisor, I think it's made it easier for you to track our records. Because in the morning, as you have told us, just say what you're working on today, put your goals in there, and that makes it easier for you to track what we are doing. And something else, I love the cool channels that you can join on Slack, like people you haven't met before, but they're on this channel, and you're like familiar with whatever they're doing, or you're interested in what they're doing, and you get to learn it on there on Slack, or like the support channel for Vestigo that's on there. That's really, it comes in handy when somebody needs help. So I think I love Slack.
Awesome. Well, just quick shout out to my boss, Ian Sheridan, who has taught me some of the management techniques I'm deploying on Slack today. So, Ian, I know you're smiling when you see this. Chris, your hot take.
I've definitely come to appreciate it because with the working from home situation that we've got ourselves in, you want to be able to have that constant communication open. And you would normally do it with text in any other setting, but in the work setting, you got to be sending attachments back and forth, and but still have that constant sort of informal communication line open. And it brings an informality to it that I don't think email has, because you always have that sort of calling card at the end, which would just make it that much longer and that much more chaotic. It sort of bridges the formality of email with the informality of text, and you get that sort of constant communication open. You can still keep in touch with people, even though we're all over the place right now as far as location.
Fantastic. All right, you two. Well, I'll let you get back to work for the next couple of hours, and then I wish you a fantastic weekend, and we will get started with our stand-up on Monday morning.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.